My name is Maggie Andrews, and I'm a junior at Glen South High School. I started going to Our Whole Lives in 2012 when I was in 7th grade. Our Whole Lives, or OWL, is a sex ed class taught by members of the church for youth in 7th grade through high school. 2012 being my first year in OWL, I wasn't sure what to expect beyond a normal sex ed class I would get in a school setting. Boy, was I wrong. Not only did OWL give me a comprehensive sex education, most schools only give an abstinence-only sex education, but OWL also gave me a chance to bond with people who went on the retreat with me. The leaders of OWL make sure that everyone feels welcome, no matter their gender or sexuality, and every relationship is talked about. OWL gives you an amazing amount of knowledge about sexuality that no school can give you, as well as a great chance to make friends, which is why I think OWL is beneficial for everyone involved. Even if schools could give their students a comprehensive sex education, most won't, because there's so much stigma around sexuality in schools. This is why my sister Kat and I have stepped up to co-president PRISM, our LGBTQ club at Glen South High School. The club gives us a chance to share with others what OWL gave to us. Now you may ask how Christianity and God may fit into all of this. OWL is about teaching others the importance of love and friendship. It's also about learning how to respect those around you as well as yourself. Love, friendship, and respecting others is what Christianity is all about. Having OWL be a part of this church helps that message be passed along not only to the youth in this church, but also to their friends and relatives as well. OWL helped me figure out a different side of me that, because of this church being open and affirming, I now feel comfortable sharing with the world. So many people do not feel affirmed, and it's up to us to let them know they are welcomed here at our church, and that there's nothing wrong with being who they are.
Just gonna put that up a little bit. Hi, my name is Katherine Andrews. You're gonna see like a pattern. We're all of the Andrews clan, so we're all related. I'm a freshman at Glen South. Maggie and I come from a pretty progressive family, which I'm guessing some of you know already. But growing up, my parents made it very clear that no question was off the table. They gave us the opportunity to know ourselves and not be afraid, while a lot of my friends were being taught that their bodies were not something to be talked about. When I first went to OWL, it only expanded my knowledge from what my parents taught me. I learned about consent and healthy relationships, and most important of all, that sex ed and God don't have to be polar opposites. The stigma of churches is that they relate anything that has to do with sex, orientation, romance, identity, with unholy. But our church is nothing like that. In OWL, we keep discussions open and rank education before fear or judgment. It is because of OWL and my parents that I have become educated on current issues, from sexual assault on campus to LGBTQ topics. And I have taken that experience and become involved with supportive clubs at our school and for the District 87 for LGBT students. You see, most of my friends are a part of the LGBTQ community, that is, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, or questioning. And few of them have a safe place, a place where they don't have to hide who they are. Now, Maggie and I are lucky. We had that at home, but to have it at church as well, that was so cool to me in my younger years and still is. I am so grateful that this congregation has made this church a welcoming place. But we have work to do, and it lies beyond our church doors. Take it just down the street for starters, at Glen West. In general, the Glen High schools are being less than welcoming to trans students. My sister and I, my mom, and other members of this church are working on a committee called Glen Voices of Equity, and that is focusing on making the Glen High schools a safer and more supportive place for transgender students. We are not there yet for District 87, but other districts like U46 Elgin and Peoria and Rockford have all adopted policies that are inclusive and supportive. I am confident that we will be successful at the Glenbards too. To truly be open and affirming, I feel we must take what we learn and apply to life. Think about what you can do, and do it. Thank you.
And here's the mama. I'm Katherine Andrews, and about 7 years ago, I was working for this church as a part-time youth coordinator when Rachel Barr, our then youth minister, asked me, "How do you identify, Caroline?" To which I responded, "White, Anglo-Saxon, Protestant, middle class, educated. What about you?" But she did not mean race, religion, social class. She just meant gender, sexuality. This simple inquiry has led me to a greater understanding of gender and sexuality, which are different, by the way, and introduced me to new terminology. I have to say, when all these new terms were coming at me, like pansexual, transgender, aromantic, cisgender, I felt that these identities were confusing. I couldn't keep them all straight, maybe because I was straight. But the more I investigated, the more I saw that these terms of gender and sexual identity in general are really about inclusivity and acceptance of one's own understanding of self. I feel that this current activism and awareness of gender and sexuality is reminiscent of the call to support civil rights, women's rights, rights of those with disabilities, and I see it as totally in line with what Jesus taught about love. Love is love. And as I understand it, God, she does not exclude anyone. Having been part of the first group of parents to be trained to teach our whole lives, OWL, having kids who identify LGBT, having taken our youth to march in the Chicago Pride Parade as part of a group of welcoming churches, and now working on a committee that supports transgender students in District 87, I'm glad to say that the place that anchors my faith also practices inclusivity. But our work is not over, especially in this current political climate. Please, today, speak up when you hear the word gay used as a pejorative. Get to know the person that dresses differently than you, rather than just stare at them. Become an ally. Taking action will make your faith stronger. Thank you.